Hi, I'm Borell, founder and CEO of Mobile Test & Cal, and I want to take a few minutes of your time to tell you about the history of the business and where we're going in the future. So if we rewind back to the very beginning, before Mobile Test & Cal was even in existence, I want to tell you a little bit about where the idea came from, and that is what so much of the business is based on. So I used to work in the electrical industry and used to have a huge amount of problems getting things tested, calibrated and inspected. I was a supplier and I was trying to get these things done pre-sale so it could go to the client, tested, calibrated or inspected. And it was very difficult to find someone who could do that in a timely manner for me. There was one company doing it on site, but they had long lead times to get on site. We did not get paperwork for a long time. It was a really drawn out and painful process. Even worse was taking it to a workshop or a lab to get tested or calibrated. That would mean potentially 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before it would be tested, and I could send these goods to what at the time was my customer. And I just knew this wasn't good enough. On top of all of that, I was hearing a lot of chatter from the industry from our customers at the time who we were selling equipment to, that once we'd sold it to them, getting that testing redone every 6 months was a nightmare again. So it wasn't just pre-sale for me, it was post-sale for our customers. Getting it done in any sort of reasonably timely fashion or any level of reasonable customer service attached to testing, calibration and inspection services was an absolute nightmare. So once I heard this enough times, I started to think maybe there's an opportunity here to disrupt that industry, do things a lot better, a lot different, and I think that was something that I felt the market was really going to take and adopt, and something the market deserved. It was clearly frustrating for customers, and I felt they deserved better, and I felt I could do better. Now, when we entered the industry, I knew we were going to need to be different to all the existing providers. There's no point coming in and having the same poor levels of service and having the same slow turnaround times as customers were currently getting. So we decided to differentiate ourselves in 2 key ways: customer service, but also efficiency. Customer service for me was an obvious and an easy one. I'm very, very passionate about customer service. I know that customers are your lifeblood. Without customers, you have no business. So when we hired and recruited and trained, it was really important for us to drum that into everyone, that if you're going to work here, you have to treat customers as your absolute #1 priority. And that flows through absolutely everything we do. The second part was about adding efficiency to the way the service is delivered. Now, the way we decided to do that was go away from the old model, which was a mobile service would turn up with all their gear loaded into a van. They would turn up, open up their van, set up their equipment, mark off a big workspace that they needed of the customer's warehouse or workshop, and go about their job. When they're finished, pack it all up again and take off. We decided to throw that concept out the window, and what we did is get long wheelbase, high roof Sprinter vans that we fit out as a mobile lab. The fit out inside them is absolutely beautiful, it's professional, it adds efficiency, and it means all we need to do is turn up to site, plug in, and we're totally self-sufficient. That cuts down on job times, that means that we can cut down on cost. It's a benefit for both us and for the customer. If you've ever seen the movie The Founder, there's a scene where he spends a great amount of time with chalk on a tennis court, marking out different potential kitchen designs and seeing which one's the most efficient. We actually went through, having not known that at the time, an extremely similar process, but instead of chalk, it was masking tape, and it was on our warehouse floor. We spent a bunch of time marking everything up, figuring out how can you best maximize the room that's within a Mercedes Sprinter to turn it into a mobile testing and calibration laboratory. What we achieved was an absolutely unbelievable design that added a massive gain in efficiency and allows us to deliver our service faster, better, more professionally, and in a more controlled environment. So in late 2010, I took the plunge, decided to start Mobile Test & Cal, and we hit the ground running in 2011 servicing our very first customers in Southeast Queensland. This was out of a second-hand van with second-hand equipment. It wasn't a grandiose start to what's turned out to be quite a big operation, but it was very, very humble beginnings that have grown into where we are today. Some of the challenges we faced in those early days were immense. The second-hand van that I just mentioned, our competitors used to mock us for on social media and say we're rubbish because we're driving around in an old van. We used to get a lot of hate from them. Every staff member we would hire and start to train, they would poach instantly. As well as that, being a young business owner at the time, it was very, very difficult to get funding. And running a business in the compliance space is very expensive. There's a lot of capital that needs to go into buying equipment. So the early days were not easy. Growth wasn't rocket ship fast straight away. It took some time to get going. As well as that, a really aggressive competitor that did not like us coming in and taking some of their market share because we were doing such a good job. Yeah, it was tough, and there was times where you think about whether it's worth it or not, but the positive feedback from all the customers and how much better a job we were doing than what they were used to is what made it all worthwhile and why we kept persisting with it. So while the first year or two were quite steady, by year 3 we really started to hit our stride. We were national via using a franchise model to grow. So we had a really tight screening process to find suitable franchisees, and we started to dot them around the country to have a national foothold, which was really good. That let us go to the next level and deal with a higher level of customer and let them experience our benefits as well. We'd achieved a wide level of accreditations. We also were listed in the BRW Fast Starters, which is the 100 fastest growing startups in Australia. And as well as that, we were also in negotiations and just about to launch in New Zealand. So first couple of years was steady, but then we really started to grow quite quickly, and that enabled a lot more customers around a lot more locations to experience the benefits of our service. So fast forward another couple of years, around 2015, 2016, that's when we really made the next big shift in our business, which was to start thinking of ourselves as a full service compliance business as opposed to a testing, calibration and inspection business. So rather than just doing testing services, calibration services and inspection services, we started offering an end-to-end solution, which was reminder services when equipment's due, running an asset register for you online so you can keep an eye on all of your assets. All those sorts of things that basically made us an end-to-end solution to handle all your compliance headaches for you, as opposed to just coming on site, doing the service, giving you some reports and let you handle the rest. So that was an absolutely massive game changer for us. It also coincided with around the time that we decided to reacquire all our franchisees and become one united national and international entity. So those two things coupled together were another big step forward for us. Again, opened us up to all new markets. Additional to that, we also started widening our service scope. So not just dealing with the electrical industry exclusively, which is where our roots firmly are, but also dealing with a whole bunch of other industries and a whole bunch of other services. So all those things really came together at the one time and were a massive couple of years for us that really accelerated us to the next level. So 2018, we are the unquestioned market leader in the electrical industry. It's where our roots are, so that makes total sense. But what we want to do now is become the market leader in other industries as well. Any industry that requires compliance services such as testing, calibration or inspection services is an industry that we have earmarked to become the dominant player in. Now that is not only for our benefit, that's for the benefit of those industries too, because I truly believe that the service we offer is an absolute game changer to any industry we enter. Now we're already in those industries, we're servicing a small amount of customers, but what we want to do and what we owe to that industry is to become the dominant player in that industry, just like we have in electrical. So I look forward to having you along for the ride, no matter what industry you're in. If you require compliance services, we are an end-to-end compliance solution, and as we grow and expand, I look forward to servicing you if we don't already.